Welcome back, everybody, one and all, to yet another matchup here in 4-Digit World Cup 2026. This is going to be a winner's bracket matchup in the quarterfinal stage between Team USA versus Team Philippines. My name is Liliana. I will be your lone caster for this stream here, and this will also be the final match for today. I do believe the next match not starting up for another 9 hours from now, so there are just a few more matches to be had this weekend, do not fear, but this should be a pretty interesting one. This is between Seed 3 United States and Seed 6 Philippines. These are two teams that are both extremely strong. Of course, of course, the United States having won the previous 4WC, now coming back and looking to continue forward with more points, more wins. But Philippines, this is a terrifyingly strong team as well. As I mentioned, they're seed 6, sure, but they are still so strong, as well as this United States team. Very, very good when it comes to mechanics. Very good when it comes to a couple of the gimmicks like the hiddens as well. But we'll see just how this one plays out. I think both teams are extremely well-rounded, so this should be a very interesting one. Already, though, to start things off, the United States going to be banning out that hidden 2, and we do see a double mechanics ban here into the US from the Philippines on the DT2 and the DT3. These are both bans that I think the United States would definitely be quite solid at, especially considering their mechanics lineup for the double times as well. But yeah, I mean, these are two very, very solid teams. These are two teams that should be able to go toe-to-toe with each other here. For the Philippines, you've got VDC as the captain, Francisqueso, Gabbers, Guardian, Jitterish, Maron, Core, and Zany for that team. And on Team USA, you have Insert as the captain, Daitaku Helios, Eddie, Hidden on Osu, which I'll be probably referring to them as Darwin, Indiana, Juicy, Mr. Jeffrey, and Trigon is going to be their lineup for them. And now we need to see what that final ban is going to be from the United States. If they do want to continue to ban into some of the gimmick. Of course, that hidden 2 being the AR 7.5 hidden map for this pool. We could see potentially something like the Nomad 5 ban come through. I do know that that was a map that I did have a chance to see how the United States team would want to play, having gotten to see some of their scores so far. And so, yeah, that Nomad 5 getting banned out. It's not that they can't play it themselves. They're actually pretty comfortable, all things considered, for both that Hidden 2 and that Nomad 5. But versus this Philippines team, you probably would never want to leave either of those open. Just a very strong gimmick team as well here for the Philippines, despite having some very strong gimmick players for the United States, but just not allowing them to have that. In terms of gimmick as well, there's a lot more mechanics in this pool than there are gimmick to choose from. And still, though, going to be quite a fair bit of gimmick, just in different ways. But when we're looking at low AR gimmick now, the only map remaining is going to be that free mod 2 custom, being the anti-mod, the CS5 AR8. And we are going right into one of the other gimmick style maps that I was going to bring up here on that No Mod 4 with the Strange Bar pick here from the Philippines. This is going to be their first pick, and this is more or less swing. It's kind of jank, I guess, is probably the best way to describe it. You've got a lot of like start stops in your aim, but it is just swing rhythms when you really boil it down. So this should be interesting to see. How both these teams end up doing on this, but I wouldn't put it past the United States to also be able to play this as well. I think both teams are just going to be picking into their strengths rather than the opponent's weaknesses necessarily, so we'll have to see how this one goes. But I mean, all things considered, this should be a very strong first pick for the Philippines. Both of these teams, yes, they have a lot of skill overlap, but as far as how these teams match up across the different maps, United States seems to do quite a bit better on the mechanics, and some of the more gimmicky stuff the Philippines actually looked very solid on, especially in the qualifiers, especially last week as well. Both these teams having played their first matches in the tournament this past week. We didn't get to see them play until that round of 16 because, you know, of course, both these teams qualified high enough where they didn't have to do the group stage. United States having beaten seed 18 Spain as a 6-0 scoreline, and for the Philippines, it was 6-0 versus seed 15 Netherlands. So neither of these teams yet to drop a point. That will change with this matchup, regardless of how it goes one way or the other. One of these teams is going to come out of this with at least 1 point dropped. We'll say at least 6 points will be dropped for one of these two teams. Now it's just a matter of how close this match is going to be. And I do expect it to be quite close, all things considered. So here we are. We've got every player in the lobby. I would imagine we're going to get started pretty soon here. For the side of the US, you've got Indiana, Insert, Darwin, and Mr. Jeffrey. And over on the other side for the Philippines, it's going to be Core, Zany, Gabbers, and Maron. These are going to be your players, and we're going to be taking this one very quickly now into the first map of this match here for the Philippines. Hopefully? Potentially. Might. Yeah. So, looks like potentially we just have a little bit of issues on our end. We're going to try to get that sorted out as quick as we can, but it does appear that the players have already started this map, so hopefully we can get into it as well here, but, you know, if not, we do always have the MP working, but, yeah, sometimes ban should just be banjoing, so do not fret. Yeah, this is the Philippines pick. Again, if you're just joining, so this should expect them to be performing quite well, especially with this being their first pick. I would absolutely hope that this is their strongest pick. It's just unfortunate that we don't quite get to see how it's going for them, and we're just going to have a little bit of technical difficulties here, so we'll get back to you guys once we get things sorted out. Click the circles. No worries. Oh, you hear the song. And we should be back here, folks. Let's go ahead and take a look at how this one's going. Oh my goodness. I saw a lot of combos here on the board already, though. It is going to be a 4-way FC for the US after the first 2/3 of the map. Finally, we do get to see a couple of breaks come through. But the first few breaks were on the side of the Philippines there. Gabbers, Core, and Zany going to be dropping their combos. Now it is just Maron on that recovery, but both Insert and Indiana having dropped their combos coming into that final quarter of the map. Still, though, unfortunately, we didn't get to see the initial opening to this map. And again, it is exactly as I said it was. It's very swing heavy. A lot of these swing rhythm patterns. This back half of the map, though, does get a little bit more technical with the patterning. Some of the notes do end up getting a little bit uncomfortable, but that's going to be Mr. Jeffrey to fall. But there's Maron dropping their combo as well. Traded out, and now it is just Darwin, the bottom left of your screen, the only player holding onto the combo, but it's 465,000 points in favor of the United States. And this is not nearly enough time for the Philippines to be able to build back any form of a score for themselves here. United States going to be starting things off very strong here with the breakpoint. We do see, unfortunately, well, we got to see the end of that map. Curious to see how the intro would have gone necessarily for the Philippines. Unfortunately for them, I mean, they had a fantastic team score there. Almost 2.2 million. is a very good team score, but no real standout scores, unfortunately. You had Zany at 640k. That was their best score. But then you look over at the other side, and like average score for the United States is about 700,000, give or take 680 to 700k. And so that's going to be more than enough for the United States to be able to secure that break point now. Still, though, you have to imagine this was a good pick for the Philippines. It's just very unfortunate we didn't quite get to see how that one went down for them, but hopefully we will get to see the rest of the maps here in the pool. As now the United States, having gotten that break point, they are going to have a chance to try to consolidate onto that. It's just a matter of where they choose to go here. Philippines having banned out that DT2 and the DT3 does limit their raw tapping / speed finger control maps available to them. There is still that free mod 3, which I would imagine we'll see them go into eventually. I'm not sure if it's going to be a first pick from them necessarily. Have something here pulled up so I can maybe see exactly where they'd want to go. There is potential to see something like that Hidden 3 original come into play, although if it's going to be the United States picking it or versus Philippines picking it, that is not completely to my knowledge here. I do know that the United States are definitely comfortable on that map, but it's just a question of if they want to be the ones picking it. We could also see them go into the Hard Rocks. This team is quite solid and comfortable on the Hard Rocks. Specifically that Hard Rock 2, I think, could definitely be a good one for them. But it is just going to be into the double times here for the United States on their first pick. Having gotten that break point, we'll get to see how this DT goes for them. Whether or not they're going to be able to consolidate on that break point. But this is going to be AR 10.3, 200 and almost 70 BPM. I'm not going to say it. They're trying to get me to say it. No, it's 267 BPM, 2 minutes 40 seconds in length, and definitely a switch up in terms of, you know, what we would have seen in the OMA 4 versus what we will see here in the DT1. This is a lot more mechanics forward again. As the United States does tend to lean towards, especially in their pick strategy, versus other teams that do prefer some of these gimmicker picks, like we saw that No Mod 4 being the Philippines' first pick. The United States is going to try to push the double time agenda here as much as they can, especially on the more mechanics forward ones, but you know, with the Philippines banning out that DT2, DT3, that does just leave the DT4 available for the rest of the DT pool, and that map is probably a lot more accessible, I feel like, for both sides. But, I mean, that's not to say that the Philippines cannot play double time. In fact, if you take a look at the qualifier scores for them, they actually got number 2 overall on the DT1, trailing behind what was to be Vietnam, who got number 1 on the map. And they had almost a 4 million team score, so definitely a very solid, comfortable team when it comes to this style of map. I think the United States do know that the Philippines can play this. They should know that. And so this is really coming down to how comfortable the United States are as their 4-man roster versus how the Philippines can play. And I think the United States are just hedging their bets that they will be able to pull out more full combos than the Philippines here. Now, whether or not that is actually going to be the case, you know, anything can happen in match. As we just saw, Philippines losing on their first point, their first pick, excuse me. So, you know, anything can happen. Philippines definitely, they have potential to bring a breakpoint back of their own here on this pick. So, the United States do have to lock in if they want to consolidate on that. But here we go. Got a couple of player switch-ins. Again, going to be seeing some of the more DT-focused players now coming in for both sides. The United States, you've got Juicy Eddie, Mr. Jeffrey, and Indiana in the lobby now. For the Philippines, you've got Core Gabbers, Francis Queso, and Jitterish going to be in for them. Lots of bursts in this map. Early goings. Are going to be seeing a couple of breaks on both sides. Mr. Jeffrey going to be having the most recent of breaks, but on the other side, it was Jitterish to drop very early on. Dropping a fair amount of accuracy as well as that combo, so is going to be giving a slight score advantage to the United States here as we make our way into the first KI section. A little bit of this jump spacing increasing. We do see multiple breaks on the side of Philippines. Gabbers and Francis Queso going to be dropping their combos, and now that just leaves one FC on the side of Philippines. It was the recovery on Jitterish, but not going to be able to hold on to that as there's one remaining full combo for the Philippines versus 3 and a recovery on Mr. Jeffrey. So this is already a fantastic start for the United States. Already, though, we are a third of the way through the map. We are making our way to the halfway mark. Looks like the combos have started to stabilize for the players that did end up finding any breaks, but we are going to be making our way back into the second KI now. Facing, again, going to be picking up on some of these jumps, and now we do see more breaks coming through. Unfortunately, it's on the Philippines once more as Jitterish and Francis Queso both going to be dropping their combos. Indiana will trade out on one of them. That was one of the players still full comboing for the United States, but still, it is 1 FC to 2 right now in favor of the US as more misses coming through from Jitterish, but that's Eddie to drop the full combo. Wait a minute, there was Juicy going down. It traded with Gabbers, but unfortunately it's going to be Core dropping their combo as well, and now Mr. Jeffrey on that recovery, finding a miss very, very early on into the map, but the only player above 300 combo outside of Francis Queso, and sitting at 900 combo, continuing to climb here. This is going to be Mr. Jeffrey bringing the finish line towards the United States here as they will be consolidating on the breakpoint with this C2-1 pick. Just a question of how far can they go. Already almost 700,000 points. There it is in favor of the United States. More misses to come through from multiple players on the ending. But still, these two players holding on to their combos here. Not going to be having any full combos, but that is a fantastic recovery score from Mr. Jeffrey as well as Francis Queso. Very, very impressive comboing on the end of the map there. It's just the S-ring from Mr. Jeffrey. An unfortunate slider break very early on, but yeah, this is definitely a decent team score for the United States on their first pick. They are up 2-0. Philippines, they had some pretty good scores as well. Both Core and Francis Queso both above that 600,000 mark. But just nobody really quite able to put together those big combo numbers that we were seeing from Mr. Jeffrey, and just overall team consistency wise, the United States looked a lot better there. So it's going to be United States now consolidated on the break point. 2-0. Philippines will get the next pick, and we'll get to see where they want to go now. We saw them go into that Nomad 4. Unfortunately, didn't work out for them necessarily. I do think going into the Hiddens could definitely be good for them. Alternatively, we could maybe see something like that free mod 2. I think that could favor them, especially with it being on the lower AR, and you do have to have the multiple mods here in this tournament, as has been customary. So, you know, at least somebody is going to be forced onto the Hiddens, and somebody's going to be forced onto the Hard Rock, and then, you know, as well, you're going to have someone else on another set of mods. So we'll see just exactly what they want to choose to do. I do imagine that they are going to take their time, use the timers to their full extent, but it's going to be that Hidden 1 pick here, baby. Go round 1993. This is Hidden Aim at its finest. It is not just jump aim, although do not get it twisted. The jump aim in this map is quite difficult, but there's also flow aim to this. There's a lot of these streams that do end up happening in between the jump aim patterns, and they're not necessarily the hardest of streams, but you know, you're still playing with Hidden, and in a tournament setting where nerves are high, you know, you've got your one score and you have to make that score work. Well, the streams can definitely make some players trip up, so we'll see if everybody's able to lock in, able to control their nerves and hit those, as well as all of the big jumping or jump patterns, excuse me, in the map. It does get quite big on the jumps when it gets to the end of the map, but you know, all things considered, this is like basically a pretty standard 7-star-ish jump map. So I think both teams should be pretty comfortable on this. Again, the United States, they do have some very, very solid hidden players, as well as just jump consistency for them. So This could be, again, another scary pick for the Philippines, but I don't dislike it. By any means, I do think that picking into their strengths is the best way they can go. Even if those strengths might also be a strength of the United States, you still have to pick it for the Philippines here because you need any form of advantage that you can get here over the US. This has been consistently one of the strongest teams in 4WC, consistently one of the teams to beat here in 4WC, and so Philippines, yeah, their first pick didn't quite go their way, but that doesn't mean that the rest of the picks will either. We do need to see how they will do here moving forward, and the match is not over until it's over. They have plenty of time to get that breakpoint back eventually. It's just you can't really give up any more of your own picks here, so we'll see if this hit and one is going to work out for them, or if the United States is going to be able to steal another point away. That is the question. We've got everybody in the lobby here, all the hidden rosters locked in. Mr. Jeffrey, insert Darwin and Daitaku Helios for United States. Over on the Philippines, you've got VDC, Zany, Maron, and Gabbers going to be your lineup for them. So here we go, map number 3. So far, Philippines yet to get on the board. Would like to do so here on their own pick with the hidden one. It's also just a pretty banger song, all things considered. I think the song is kind of awesome, so do enjoy just vibing to this one. But yeah, a lot of jumps. You've got some bursts mixed into the jumps as well, and then the flow aim. And so you can just find misses anywhere, especially if like you do miss aim slightly, over aim slightly, under aim, any of the jump patterns, you can break. But it should be pretty consistency based here for all of these players. We shouldn't be seeing too many breaks outside of maybe some of those streams. You could see some players finding a couple of chain misses potentially, but so far early goings in this map, I was going to say nobody has found any breaks, but so far we do actually already have a trade from 2 of the players here. VDC and Mr. Jeffrey both going to be dropping combo very early on. But here we go, we're going to get into the first stream section. It was going to be another miss from Mr. Jeffrey going into that section, but still everybody else is holding. Unfortunately, it's going to be Zany next to fall on the side of the Philippines here. Daitaku Helios going to be dropping a decent amount of accuracy as well as the combo there, so it's still going to be a combo advantage in favor of the Philippines for the time being, albeit not very much. There's still plenty of map left to remain here, 3/4 of the map in fact, but still holding on to that advantage is what they need to do here. VDC, unfortunately, going to be dropping that recovery combo, but that was a player who'd already found a few misses earlier on, and it does again get traded out with Mr. Jeffrey, so we will see the score continue to stay very close between these two teams. It's flipping back and forth with another miss coming through here from Zany, but still, Mr. Jeffrey not quite able to put up the combo just yet for them as we make our way into the next stream section here. This could be more combos dropped if anybody is not paying super close attention. There goes Daitaku Helios once more. Here for the United States, it's going to be Zany to trade, but there goes Gabbers, and that was one of the FCs remaining for the Philippines, and now it is just Maron versus Insert and Hidden on Osu. Darwin for the United States, and now that score is going to start climbing in favor of the United States quite a bit, as there's no backing combo for the Philippines for Maron. It is just them, and they can't do it alone here. 1v2, and it is better recovery combos here for Mr. Jeffrey and Daitaku Helios. And this is the back and forth jump patterns. You could see some players miss on these if you're not super careful with your aim here. There goes Insert. That was one of those FCs for the United States, and it's only 150,000 points in their favor. This is definitely plenty of time for the recovery to happen for the Philippines. Zany on some good recovery here. It is being matched by Daitaku Helios, though. Gabbers and VDC both dropping their combo into the next stream section. Maron not able to hold on to their combo. They're not able to keep their aim proper here, and they do find an unfortunate chain miss, and now any hopes of the Philippines bringing that scoreline back is going to be squanched, as the United States is still holding on to that FC from Hidden on Osu. Unfortunately, cannot get the full combo as I bring their name up, but still a 240,000 point score advantage for the United States. They are going to continue to push this score advantage on the Philippines' second pick, and they will be securing this 3rd point here, bar a complete disaster. Jumps do get quite big in the end, though. You already saw a couple of cross-screen jumps there, but yeah, just not enough time for the Philippines to be able to bring it back. Really good recovery from Zany. That score is moving, actually. Hold on. But it's not moving that fast. Both Insert, Itaku Helios, and Mr. Jeffrey all dropping their combos here. It's down to 140,000 points, but there's just no time left in the map, unfortunately. And Zany going to be dropping their combo at the very end. Even if they held on to the combo, it wouldn't have been less than 130k, 120k at most. And that is the United States now with the third point on the board here. Philippines yet to find their own point, unfortunately. It was a much closer map. All things considered, they kept it very, very close. But yeah, with Insert and Darwin's two combos working hand in hand here, Maran tried their all, but they weren't quite able to match either of them. And so this is the United States now with another break point and another chance to consolidate on such. Will we see them continue to do so? That is the question. They still have that free mod 3, I believe it is 240 BPM if they do want to go into that. There is, well, let's go with the rest of the pool. I mean, you do have the Nomad 1, and this isn't a team that would be opposed to picking that Nomad 1. Especially considering what we just saw here on the hidden one. It's a very similar style of jump aim, but it's on the faster side when you compare the two maps here. This was 180 BPM versus 226 BPM on the Nomad one. So that could be an option that they choose to go into. Again, still looking at stuff in the Hard Rocks. I do think that the United States does favor when it comes to the Hard Rock picks. I think that any Hard Rock would not be a bad pick for them necessarily, but probably most likely something like that Hard Rock 2 or the Hard Rock 3 would be solid for them. Maybe, yeah, I'm thinking like Fremont 3 or one of the Hard Rocks or the Nomad 1. Those are my thoughts here. We could also see them go DT4 if they really want to close out the DT pool. There's nothing stopping them from doing so. But I think so far they are off to a great start, and bang, there is the Fremont 3. That is going to be the most like in-your-face mechanics map available in the pool, and so now we will see how the teams choose to separate their mods here, because if I can pull up the proper link here, I just don't want to get it wrong in my wording before I do end up saying it, but I do believe that you need 3 players on mods for the free mods here. Actually, let me just triple check that here. Get to the free mod section in the rules document, and yes, okay, exactly what I thought it was. So player 1 has to take either hidden, easy, or easy hidden. Any combination of those, but they have to have one of those. The second player has to take hard rock or hidden hard rock. And a third player has to take any mod combination except for no mod. So it has to be like a hidden, a easy hidden hard rock, or hidden hard rock. Any of those, they have to be on that. And the fourth player can choose to do any mod combination, including no mod. So if they want to, they can go no mod. There is also Flashlight, but I really don't think we're going to be seeing Flashlight on a map like this. But that is a mod that would be allowed for the third player. But we would still need to see like one hidden, one hard rock, or an easy and an HDHR or something from the other 2 players. So that is what is required here for the free mod rules. And so that does give a little bit of skill expression for all the different players, you know, what each player is most comfortable on. I have to imagine it's going to be a hard rock on Eddie, probably a hidden on Darwin for the United States, and then it's between leaving Mr. Jeffrey on Nomad or Indiana on Nomad. If you leave Mr. Jeffrey on the Nomad, you're probably putting Indiana on the hard rock, and if you leave Indiana on the Nomad, you're putting Mr. Jeffrey on the hidden, potentially. Over on the other side for the Philippines, I'm not as familiar with all of these players' comfort mods here, so it's actually going to be the hidden for Mr. Jeffrey, which probably leaves no mod for Indiana, and the hidden from Darwin, and yeah, hard rock for Eddie. Over on the other side, you've got core on the no mod, hard rock on both, or no, actually just Francis Queso and the Gabbers and Zany both on the hiddens here. So no overmodding to be seen here on this heavy burst map. It's 240 BPM, as I said, so we will already be seeing some couple of early breaks from both Zany and Darwin going to be traded out with each other, but it is still 3 FCs to 3 for the time being on what is a longer map. A lot of time for these combos to recover from both players here, but the bursts do continue through the entire map, so, you know, stamina can come into play for some of these players, and especially you do have to maintain that accuracy. If you are one of those hard rock players, the accuracies can wane a little bit, and so far we do see another break coming through here from both sides. It was on Zany again for the Philippines, but now it's a double break from Mr. Jeffrey and hidden on Osu. These players not able to hold on to their combos, and so now 2 FCs to 3 in favor of the Philippines. This is going to start to give a sizable score advantage to them the longer they can hold on to this combo advantage. It is going to go into another big burst. Nobody on the side of the Philippines dropping, but that's a double break from the United States as Eddie now falls on their full combo, and that leaves just Indiana, the last remaining FC versus 3 for the Philippines. And in a complete turn of events here, this Fremont 3 is not going the direction of the United States. In fact, as we make our way into the final third of the map here, it's still 3 FCs to 1 in favor of the Philippines. Yes, Gabbers is going to be dropping one of those FCs, but still holding on are 2 of the players for the Philippines, and we are going to get to see how much more of score gap this is here now, as the players do have that pause going into the final quarter of the map now. 370,000 points in favor of the Philippines. This is maybe already uncomebackable for the United States, as there are no combos remaining here. Indiana having dropped the last remaining FC, and now the Philippines are able to run away with this one. Francis Queso going to be finally falling, but it is still core on that full combo, and 770 combo in for Zany as well. I mean, this is plenty of damage done from the Philippines, and they will be answering back with a breakpoint of their own. First point on the board for the Philippines. Just like that, we've got a match on our hands, ladies and gentlemen. Philippines, I mean, what an incredible team score there. 2.8 million team score is nothing to scoff at by any means. Sure, we got to see, you know, maybe some lower accuracies, but on a map like this, and you've got people comboing on core on Francis Queso, holding on to their combos for as long as they were. Zany and Gabbers as well, sitting at almost 1,000 combo each. I mean, that is very impressive. And you look over at the other side for the United States, where you expect those players to get great scores. And they still had decent scores, but they just weren't able to combo, unfortunately. I'm not really sure if that was a mispick necessarily. It really didn't feel like one. This is a team that can absolutely play these kinds of maps and play them, you know, to its fullest extent, but yeah, just didn't look nearly as comfortable for the first time in this match here. So now the Philippines, they've been given a little bit of sigh of relief. They are still down another breakpoint, to be fair, but if they are able to consolidate on this breakpoint, then that means they only need to get that 1 point back in order to tie things up. So this is really good for the Philippines. They do need to continue to push for more points here in order to tie things back up with the United States, but, you know, 1 point is not enough to get you over the finish line. You're going to have to keep going here, Philippines, but they should feel pretty good about that one. That is a map that I think a lot of people were looking at as just an easy United States pick and win. And Philippines are like, no guys, that is not the case. We are more than capable of playing this map, and they were able to show us just that, and bang, there we go into Nomad 1. This was a map that I was predicting as a potential pick from the United States, but it's actually the Philippines who feel the most comfortable on this, and so, or well, at least the most comfortable picking this, excuse me. And so we're gonna get to see some lightning strikes here. Let's say Hasu song, I do believe. If you are familiar with, what's it, OWC last year or the year before, I can't remember. I think it was last year. There's the Nomad 1 in semis? Question mark? I'll have to look that one up. But it was a very similar style of map to this one. Same artist. 4WC 2024 semis. Thank you for that, lore. We appreciate that. But yeah, I mean, it's a very similar style of map. A little bit easier than that map, I should say, in terms of difficulty, but still a complete banger for this pool, all things considered. I think pretty much every song in the pool is kind of a banger. There's only a few that were kind of like, I didn't really care for it personally, but they're all great songs in their own regard. I'm still hoping to see that Hidden 3, guys. Like, I know everyone else is hoping to, and, you know, the way this match is going, there is potential to get to see that one eventually. It's just, one of the teams will have to pick it, but hey, we're looking at the Nomad 1 right now. Again, this is 225 BPM, I believe, on this one. Let me double check. 226, so basically 225. That was one off, but is going to be, again, some consistency mapping here. You've got burst, you've got jump aim. That's basically all that's happening. There's no real long bursts in this, and so in turn, no real, like, big streams either. But yeah, difficulty just comes down to consistency here. 7.18 stars. It is their 9.7, but that shouldn't really make a big difference for them. Yeah, war cry. But here we go. It's gonna be all the players in the lobby, all the players readied up here. Juicy Eddie, Mr. Jeffrey, and Darwin for the side of the United States. Philippines, you've got Core, Maron, Gabbers, and Zany for to be their roster here. They are coming off of a breakpoint from the United States pick. Now, the Philippines are going to try to consolidate on said breakpoint with their own pick here in the Nomad 1. It does feature a little bit of unconventional aim to start things off. This is not going to be aim slot by any means here. But a lot of geometric aim as well. So nothing too difficult, all things considered. It was a very early break coming through from Core. Now, as we are getting settled into about the 300 combo mark, we do see a trade happen between Mr. Jeffrey and Maron. So it is going to keep the score flickering back and forth as accuracy advantage is slightly in favor of the Philippines, just very slightly. But the United States is going to be holding on to that combo advantage here. Still working with the three-way FC as we get into the first big jump section. Nobody going to be dropping, but we are into the KI now. The jumps are going to continue to come here. More of these bursts mixed in. Shouldn't really be that big of an issue, but it's going to be Juicy and Mr. Jeffrey both to fall. Juicy was on the FC, and actually I didn't even see it. Eddie also dropping their combo, and so now this score advantage is going to skyrocket in favor of the Philippines, as there goes Darwin. That is the last FC for the United States, and now the Philippines have nothing to stop them right now. It is 3 players on massive combos, Maron on that huge recovery as well, and this is 320,000 points and continuing in favor of the Philippines here. This is a great chance to be able to consolidate on the breakpoint that has been given to them now. And the way this is looking, this might already be unsurmountable for the United States. 500,000 points in favor of the Philippines. There's still a quarter of the map remaining, but nobody is breaking on the Philippines. These players are locked in. They are prepared here. Finally, we see a miss come through from one of the players on the Philippines. It's going to be Gabbers. Down goes Zany as well, but the damage has been done. There is no time left for the United States to bring the scoreline back. It is going to be Core dropping the last FC in the lobby here, but still, those combos have built back up for the United States, and it's not even down under 500k and the score advantage here. Map is coming to a close very soon, and yeah, the Philippines, they have gotten it done. Philippines off the backs of some heroic combos from all the players. Again, another fantastic team score here for the Philippines, about the same team score that we saw on the previous map. United States, they looked a little bit better here on this one, also with a very good team score, 2.48 million, almost at 2.5 million, but yeah, just a couple extra miscounts on the United States here. It's double S rank for the Philippines, and 2 players that did find some breaks. It was 4 misses, but it was towards the end of the map. On the other side, no S ranks. Worth mentioning though, 3 misses from Mr. Jeffrey with the 1x50. Very unfortunate, just only missing on the aim. And then, you look over at Core, sitting at 4x miscount with 150. So very similar scores here from these two players. But you look at those two actual scores, and it was 560k from Mr. Jeffrey, 700k from Core. And so that is quite the big gap, and that's all coming down to the amount of combo that Core was able to get. This is going to be the Philippines now striking back with a consolidated breakpoint of their own, and I mean, we've just got a match on our hands here. They're still down that breakpoint. To be fair, United States still have the scoreline advantage, but it's much closer now. I think people were maybe starting to get worried that the United States were going to start to run away with things, but the Philippines are like, guys, we placed number 6 in the qualifiers for a reason. There is a reason we are at the top echelon of teams in this tournament. We are also very good, and we are seeing them perform here and now tonight. Where is the United States going to go next? High BPM is basically gone now. As far as mechanics go, you've got the Nomad 2. It is only 180 BPM. I was going to mention the DT4. I wouldn't really call that mechanics, though. But that is still in the DT pool. But we are finally going to be seeing a team go into the Hard Rocks here with a banger. This is going to be a Wheel Eat map. On the Hard Rock 3, it's Dolphin Shoals. Shoutouts to, was it Super Mario, or whatever the racing Mario game is. My brain is blanking. I've been up for far too long. Please forgive me. It's one of those Mario games. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know the saxophone. Mario Kart. My gosh, yeah. Yeah, I am embarrassed that I could not pull that one out. Do forgive me. But it's also a very short map. It's like a minute in length, if I remember correctly. Yeah, minute 25. I think it's closer to a minute 18 in actual train time. This is just an alt map. It is an alt map for basically about a minute and a half, give or take. And so misses are very, very important to not get here. Especially getting chain misses that can tank your score by like 40, 50k with a single few chain misses. So really important to hold on to as much combo as you possibly can. Yes, in the Hard Rock, yeah, your accuracy is probably going to drop a little bit, but if you can get away with that extra combo over your opponents, you're feeling a lot better than if you're missing a few times and keeping good accuracy. Combo game is the name of the game here for this one, more so than ever. Map is so short, the song is so short that we've already gotten a repeat here as we are awaiting the final players to come into the lobby now. It's like the United States, they have their lineup: Juicy Eddie, Daitaku Helios, and Darwin. On the side of the Philippines is going to be Core, Gabbers, Maron, and Zany coming back in for the Philippines. So we'll be getting this map underway very soon. Yeah, Mario Kart. I am embarrassed to have forgotten that, but yeah, there's it's alt. It is alt. There's like one slider that is like kind of spooky, but it's alt. It is snap alt aim control. There are a couple of 1/3s, like you've got that one in the very intro. Many players are dropping on that. Actually, just 2. It looks like Core and Daitaku Helios, the only ones to drop the combo there. Everybody else holding on to the combos still, but again, it's such a short map. You have to continue to hold on to these combos here. You cannot afford to miss. And we do have these little back and forth wiggles on the alt pick. Accuracy-wise, though, it is favoring the Philippines for the time being. Here's another big jump section. There goes Maron's score. Nobody to trade on the side of the United States side. It's going to flip that score line back over, but that's a double break from Juicy and Eddie now. Daitaka Helios and hidden on Osu Darwin, the only two holding on to the combo. That score instantly flips back over to the Philippines. Down goes Zany. So now we are equaling out on the full combos, but it is still 2 FCs to 2 as we make our way into the star pattern. Nobody breaking on that. And now we are already halfway through the map here. We're going to get into the little solo section very soon. It's going to be Zany again dropping the combo. These wiggles so brutal, but nobody is dropping. Core finally going to be one of the players to fall, and that score switches back up to the United States as they have the combo advantage. All players hitting the star, but not Daitaka Helios. Here's the slider. Who is going to be missing on that? It's both Daitaka Helios and Hidden on Osu. Excuse me, I meant to say Hidden on Osu Darwin, but now it's still going to be in the favor of the United States, but not for much longer potentially, as all players on the United States end up missing. Philippines still have Core and Gabbers holding on to the combos, but not enough time, and that is going to be the map. What a coin flip of a map as well. 2.6 million in favor, or 2.6 million team score for the United States, 140k in favor of the United States, 2.49 million for the Philippines, almost 2.5, very, very close. But that is what short maps can do, folks. Okay, when the map is as short as it is, and as low combo as it is, you can get away with a lot if you are able to just keep on to your combo here. You see the 97s, you see the 96s from the players, but you look at the combos and it's like, yeah, like you got 96% accuracy, but 300 combo, you're getting 500k score. and that's just how the map goes. And so the United States will be extending their score lead by 1 more point further, making it 4-2 now. But we are going to go right back to the Philippines pick here. They liked what happened on that free mod 3, and so we will see them go into the free mod 1. Completely different style of map. They have continued to pick into the 1 slots here now with this free mod 1. The United States being the only picking that DT1 pick as their 1 slot so far. So that does leave the Hard Rock 1 available still. But man, I'm very hopeful that we get to see that Hidden 3. That song is awesome. The map is so cool as well. Might be a very volatile map, which is probably the only reason why we haven't seen it picked yet between either of these two teams. Maybe both teams just really giving respect to the other for this map specifically. But here on the Fremont 1, we are going to be having more consistency here. There's going to be some Fairy Quitus. I don't know how to pronounce that. It's 205 BPM. Definitely different from that Fremont 3 where it was AR10 base. Not really a normal thing that you tend to see too often. This is going to be AR 9.2 base. It's CS4 base as well. So the hidden players, you know, are going to be having to play on that 9.2, but the harder players, it's not going to be that bad for them, all things considered. Should be seeing this one starting pretty soon once all the players get back into the lobby here. They're just going to be similar mod lineups for both sides. We do see Insert come back into the lobby, of course. Very, very solid hidden player for the United States, as well as, you know, the captain. We didn't see them on that free mod 3, but that's just because that map's kind of a tapping map, and Insert not a known tapper necessarily. Eddie going to be probably again on that Hard Rock. I imagine it's going to be another hidden from Darwin as well. Probably just Daitaka Helios on the no mod. We've got Francis Queso probably going to be on the Hard Rock for the Philippines if it is to be the same as the previous free mod. Gabber's on the hidden, of course, Zany as well, and it looks like mod combinations are to be expected here, so long as we get Eddie into the lobby. And then Maran on that no mod to match Daitaka Helios. Yep, exactly as predicted. That was weird. It wasn't showing Eddie's mod combination there for a second, but yeah, is on the Hard Rock. Won't need to get any aborts to get the proper mods in. Well, I'm not actually sure what would happen if one of the players didn't have the right mod and the map started. You have a little bit of awkward aim here on this one to start things off. It's going to be Francis Queso and Daitaka Helios. It's going to be trading out with each other. So far, everybody else maintaining decently well in the early goings of the map. Do get into this first KI section. Francis Queso gonna be finding another break here. No trades just yet on the other side for the United States, and so it's gonna give the slightest of advantage towards the US. Darwin gonna be finding a break though as we make our way into some of those weird jumps. This is gonna be traded out with Francis Queso, but that was a player who'd already dropped their full combo. Nobody gets soul slidered, so that is good. That was going to be a sight read check, but you know, I don't think any of these players are sight reading any of this pool, so especially given, you know, how much both these teams want to continue forward in the winners bracket into that semifinal stage winners bracket. But right now it's in favor of the Philippines. They have the better accuracies and the less miscount so far. A bit of wide angle stuff happening there. Nobody going to be dropping on that. No one dropping on the squares as well. But we are past the halfway mark here for the map. So one break could swing that score in one direction or the other as we make our way into the next KI section. Still a little bit uncomfortable on the patterning here. Spacing changes galore on those jumps, but nobody getting caught out. The linears, though, is going to be catching out Zany. And now that score advantage should be in favor of the United States for the time being. Players are going to get to see that the United States do have that combo advantage. And that score is still in favor of the Philippines. They have to continue to hold big jump section here. Nobody going to be dropping. Zany once more falling, though. And that was the player who did end up, unfortunately, finding a break shortly earlier on. So is going to continue to send the score over the way of the United States now. 50,000 points continuing to climb in their favor here on the Philippines' own pick. And now the back and forths, and Maron not able to hold on to the combo, unfortunately. Now that is just Gabbers, the last remaining FC for the Philippines, and not enough to match the two FCs from Eddie and Insert on their own, unfortunately. This is going to be the United States pushing that score lead even further and pushing the advantage now to 5-2. They will be on match point now as we go into their own next pick. Big back and forth jumps there. All the players holding on to the FCs are still holding. Do you see Insert finally end up dropping? I was going to say, unfortunately, that they were the first player to reach that 1 million score threshold, but not able to hold on to the combo. That's a 1x100, 1x slider break from Insert. I was noticing that they were assessing for the grand majority of the map. I didn't get to see where they dropped the 100, but still such an insane score coming through from them, as well as the full combos from Eddie and, gosh, who was at the top left for the Philippines? I'm so sorry. I need to pull it up. I think it was Core, wasn't it? Who's got the MP link? I'm pulling up the MP link. I'm doing a great job, guys. Don't worry. This is where having a secondary caster would have helped. That was Gabbers. Gabbers on the FC. Do excuse me. Yeah, still fantastic scores from them. To be able to get the full combos on all three of those players, having mods there. Eddie on the Hard Rock and the hidden for Insert and Gabbers. But just, yeah, I'm very unfortunate. Not quite able to bring that score over to the side of the Philippines. They looked really good. All things considered, I mean, again, another 3.1 million team score. That's a great team score. Versus most teams in this tournament, 3.1 million, you're probably winning the point. But United States near that 3.6 million mark there, actually over the 3.6 million mark, do end up getting that point now. They are at match point. This is still winner's bracket, so, you know, whichever team ends up losing this, they'll just drop to the loser's bracket. Their tournament lives are not over. But you know, Philippines, the only way for them to be able to win this match now is they have to win 3 consecutive maps in a row and take this to tiebreaker, and that would be quite the feat. It is going to be difficult from them here on out, as it is the United States pick. And listen, I am begging for that hidden 3. I don't know if they're going to pick it. They probably won't. In fact, it is just going to be, again, another Hard Rock. They won on that Hard Rock 3. Now with the Hard Rock 2, we're going to go into a little bit of precision here. And yeah, we won't get to see the hidden three just yet. If we do get to see a breakpoint come through from the Philippines, then there's another chance for it, potentially. But there's still more matches to come. If this match is to end here and now on the Hard Rock 2, plenty more time to see the originals, the customs as well. Those customs being the No Mod 3 and the Free Mod 2 that we have not gotten to see, as well as the original from the Hidden 3. Go show some love to all of those mappers and people who took part in that. For all of them, the customs and the originals. But right now, United States at that match point here with the Hard Rock 2. This is pretty standard precision aim, if I remember this one correctly. Actually, no, it is not. I take that back completely. There's like a lot of cut stream patterns with it being the CS 6.5. That can definitely throw a wrench into things, especially even if you are a Hard Rock player. That can make things quite a bit more difficult. So really have to be on your A game here. Have to make sure that your nerves are well maintained as well. Yeah, it's CS 6.5. That is your standard precision when it comes to Hard Rock. I think a lot of these players are going to be very comfortable on the 6.5 CS. That shouldn't be that big of a difficulty, but the map is just hard because it is still in that Hard Rock. It still makes the circle smaller. And a map like this can definitely prove to be an issue here. It could be very easy to find chain misses on some of those patterns, but United States, I mean, they're feeling good so far. They gave up 2 points. Philippines were able to steal a breakpoint away and consolidate on that. They haven't lost a point since here for the last 2 picks in a row now. Will we see them continue onward here with this 3rd pick now? Potentially close out the match to send Philippines down to the losers bracket. That is the question. Or will we see more maps to come here if the Philippines are able to combat the United States, if they are able to pull through with the scores and be able to get just 1 more point on the board, potentially put themselves even closer to that tiebreaker situation? That is the question. Right now, we have everybody in the lobby. It's the full Hard Rock lineups for both sides. Eddie, Daitaku Helios, Juicy, and Mr. Jeffrey for the United States. For the Philippines, Core, Maron, Gabbers, and Francis Queso going to be their lineup. And this is do or die for the Philippines. Or, well, do or go down to the losers bracket, I should say. But what is going to happen here on this Hard Rock 2? Definitely a lot longer than the Hard Rock 3 that we saw, but not by that much. It's only about 40 seconds longer, so still some short nap here. Coming in at just under 2 minutes. And there is the first of many cut patterns that I spoke of going into this map. And we did see a trade come through from both Daitaku Helios and Francis Queso. So it's going to keep things pretty even, relatively. Maran did have a very early break, and unfortunately is going to be finding another break as well. Those cut double patterns going to be tripping on Francis Queso. Everyone else in the lobby able to hold on to the combo, and down goes Core, unfortunately. This is not a great start for the Philippines here. We're already over a third of the way through the map. We're making our way to the first half of the map as well, going into this KI section. The spacing on those jumps is going to be taking out Juicy. The wide angle aim going to be proving too much, but it's still already 275,000 points in favor of the United States. Is quite a bit here in a map as short as this. We are making our way into the solo section. Nothing too big of difficulty other than the spacing changes. There's a little burst. It's going to be Core to drop the combo about 50 combo behind. Down goes Juicy. It's traded out with Francis Queso, but still is these 3 players holding on to the combo for the United States, and the big combo is still on the Philippines with the recovery from Maron, and it's not going to be enough right now. They need a complete disaster, and I think it's already too little too late. You asked for disaster. There goes Daitaku Helios, but the other 2 players, Mr. Jeffrey and Eddie, just not dropping. And this will be the United States pushing their score to the limit here. 6 points to 2. Down goes Eddie. It's still Mr. Jeffrey holding on to the full combo. Gabbers unfortunately dropping theirs. But this is still a fantastic performance from the Philippines. They gave it their all versus this monstrous team of the United States. But it will not be enough for them. They will drop down to that losers bracket here from the semifinal stage onwards. And the United States move forward into the semifinals winners bracket. And that will be GG for these two teams. They both played phenomenally. Some very close back and forth maps. A few of those early maps as well. But when all is said and done, United States continuing to stay strong. Here are your winners. Insert Daitaku Helios, Eddie, Darwin, Indiana, Juicy, and Mr. Jeffrey, and Trigon, whom I don't actually think we got to see at all during this match. Despite we were able to see one of those hiddens played. So very unfortunate, but this is going to be your winner, and so they will move onward, and that's going to do it for us for a while here. Are going to be more matches tomorrow. Stay tuned for those. Stay tuned for the pings. I think the next one starts in like 8-ish hours from now. So do be prepared for some pings around then. I think there's still one more potential to see who Ukraine ends up playing against, whether that is Indonesia or whether that is Austria. But yep, that's going to do it for me. Thanks so much, everybody, for watching. Again, congratulations to the United States, and we'll be back with more matches tomorrow.